It's Friday, everyone. What do we do on Fridays here at the Hint Hive? That's right, we smash the patriarchy. Hey everyone, welcome to the Hint Hive, Amplifying Women's Voices. I'm your host, Kelly Hint, Queen Bee of this hive, and today we'll be discussing a topic that many of us find ourselves facing at one point or another in our lives: infidelity. Infidelity in romantic relationships is a complex and often painful experience that can shake the very foundation of trust and intimacy. But before we delve into navigating the aftermath, let's start by understanding what infidelity really is and reviewing some statistics. Infidelity, simply put, is the breach of trust within a committed relationship. It can take many forms, from physical intimacy with someone outside of the relationship to emotional connections that cross boundaries. In today's digital age, infidelity can even occur through online interactions such as sexting or emotional affairs. Understanding the different types of infidelity is crucial because it helps us recognize the signs and address them effectively. Physical infidelity involves engaging in sexual activities with someone other than your partner, while emotional infidelity typically involves forming a deep emotional connection with someone outside of your romantic relationship, often at the expense of the primary relationship. Now let's quickly just go over some of the statistics on infidelity in romantic relationships based on various studies and surveys. Studies have shown that infidelity is not uncommon in romantic relationships. Depending on the study and the population surveyed, estimates of infidelity rates vary, but research suggests that anywhere from about 20 to 25% of married individuals in the U.S. admit to having engaged in extramarital affairs at some point in their marriage. And while both men and women are capable of infidelity, research indicates that men may be slightly more likely to engage in extramarital affairs. However, the gender gap does appear to be narrowing, with more women acknowledging infidelity in recent years. Infidelity rates tend to vary across different age groups. Younger individuals may be more likely to engage in casual or non-monogamous relationships, while older individuals may face different challenges related to infidelity, such as midlife crises or dissatisfaction with long-term partnerships. And it's also important to note that the rapid increase of digital communication and social media has introduced new avenues for infidelity. Studies have shown that technology plays a significant role in facilitating emotional affairs, sexting, and online relationships that may cross the boundaries of a committed partnership. And as I'm sure it's no surprise to anyone, infidelity can have profound emotional, psychological, and relational consequences for both the betrayed partner and the perpetrator. Trust is often shattered, leading to feelings of betrayal, anger, depression, and anxiety. Infidelity may also result in the dissolution of the relationship or marriage, especially if trust cannot be restored. And it should be noted that infidelity rates may vary across different cultures and societies due to factors such as cultural norms, religious beliefs, and socioeconomic factors. In some cultures, infidelity may be more tolerated or even accepted, while in others it may be stigmatized or taboo. Research suggests that relationship satisfaction and communication are significant predictors of infidelity. Individuals who report lower levels of satisfaction or feel unfulfilled in their relationships may be more susceptible to seeking intimacy or validation outside the partnership. It's important to note that while statistics provide valuable insights into the prevalence and trends of infidelity, every relationship is unique and individual experiences may vary. Ultimately, addressing infidelity requires empathy, understanding, and a commitment to open communication and healing for all parties involved. Now let's talk a bit about why infidelity happens. While there's no single reason why people cheat, it often stems from a combination of factors. These can include feelings of neglect or dissatisfaction within the relationship, seeking validation or excitement outside the partnership, or even as a response to unresolved issues or conflicts within the relationship. And also, I hesitate to interject this part, but because I'm not trying to make excuses for anyone, but quite often mental health factors also come into play with regard to why people cheat. There can be issues of depression or anxiety or trauma that lead the perpetrator of infidelity to make unhealthy decisions or just downright wrong decisions. And again, not to give anyone an excuse, but there are reasons behind infidelity, and it is important to get at them, especially depending on how you want to manage the relationship following an incident of betrayal. For example, let's say that Sarah has been feeling disconnected from her partner for months. They've been drifting apart, and despite her efforts to communicate her needs, her partner seems disinterested. Feeling lonely and unappreciated, Sarah finds herself slipping into a depression, and she begins to ruminate on the neglect and abandonment from her childhood. This sends her down a very unhealthy spiral, and she finds herself drawn to a colleague who listens to her and makes her feel valued. Before she knows it, she's crossed the line into emotional infidelity. While it may stop there, it could also lead to physical infidelity. Exploring infidelity from the perspective of the perpetrator can provide valuable insights into the underlying motivations and dynamics at play. It's very important to understand that individuals who engage in infidelity often grapple with their own complex emotions and circumstances. Here's a deeper dive into this perspective. Imagine being in the shoes of someone who has committed infidelity. Perhaps you're feeling trapped in a relationship where you no longer feel appreciated or fulfilled. You may be struggling with unresolved issues or conflicts with your partner, leading you to seek validation or excitement elsewhere. For some perpetrators of infidelity, their actions may stem from a deep sense of loneliness or emotional emptiness within the relationship. They may crave intimacy and connection, but feel unable to communicate their needs or address underlying issues with their partner. In such cases, seeking comfort or validation from someone outside the relationship can feel like a temporary escape from their emotional pain. Others may engage in infidelity as a response to external stressors or temptations, such as opportunities for physical or emotional intimacy with someone outside the relationship. These individuals may rationalize their actions by convincing themselves that they deserve happiness or fulfillment, even if it means betraying their partner's trust. And I just want to pause for a second because it is essential to recognize that not all perpetrators of infidelity are inherently malicious or unfaithful individuals. Often, their actions are driven by a combination of internal struggles, external pressures, and a lack of effective communication within the relationship. However, understanding the perspective of the perpetrator does not excuse or justify their behavior. Infidelity causes significant harm and betrayal to the betrayed partner, and it's essential for the perpetrator to take responsibility for their actions and the consequences they've inflicted on their relationship. Moving forward, perpetrators of infidelity must be willing to engage in introspection and address the root causes of their behavior. This may involve seeking therapy or counseling to explore underlying issues, improving communication skills, and making a genuine commitment to rebuilding trust and repairing the relationship. Ultimately, addressing infidelity from the perspective of the perpetrator requires empathy, understanding, and a willingness to confront uncomfortable truths. By acknowledging the complexities of human relationships and the underlying motivations driving infidelity, we can work towards fostering healthier, more fulfilling connections built on trust, honesty, and mutual respect. So what do you do if you find yourself facing infidelity in your relationship? First and foremost, it's essential to prioritize your emotional well-being. Take time to process your feelings and seek support from trusted friends or a therapist or a coach who can provide guidance and a safe space to express yourself. And if you choose to confront your partner about the infidelity, approach the conversation with honesty and compassion. Communication is key in navigating the aftermath of infidelity, but it's important to set boundaries and take time to assess whether reconciliation is feasible and healthy for both parties involved. Forgiving a partner who has been unfaithful is a deeply personal and challenging process that requires time, patience, and self-reflection. And while forgiveness may not come easily, it is a crucial step towards healing and moving forward, whether you choose to stay in the relationship or not. And I just want to say quickly that I hear the phrase all the time, once a cheater, always a cheater, and I'm sorry to all of those who believe that, but it is simply not a true statement that can be applied to every instance of cheating. I'm really tired of people being vilified and crucified for their mistake or unhealthy decision or whatever it is they've done, because I can promise you that there are people who have a one-time issue with this. It is not a pattern of behavior. It is simply a set of circumstances in which they chose the wrong path. So now let's just go over some tips on how to navigate the journey of forgiveness. And again, this is whether you decide to forgive the perpetrator of infidelity or not. So the first piece here is to really allow yourself to experience the wide range of emotions, including anger, sadness, betrayal, confusion, hurt, all of it. Feel the feels. And I know that that is not easy. I know some of you are like, oh, hell no, I don't want to feel all that. But you know what? It is part of the healing process. And it's so normal to feel overwhelmed by these emotions. But acknowledging and processing them is such an important piece of the healing process. I cannot emphasize this enough. And the next step is to establish very clear boundaries with your partner to protect yourself emotionally and physically. Communicate your needs and expectations moving forward, and be firm in enforcing boundaries that promote your well-being and rebuild trust. So this could be just simply saying, we're done. I choose not to work this out. I choose not to remain in this relationship with you, and just be clear about it and enforce those boundaries. Or it can be a little bit more of a, I don't want to say a vague boundary, but not entirely a promising boundary. So you can say to the partner who committed this betrayal, I'm not in a place right now to make a decision about our future. I need time to process this. That is a very clear boundary. And if the partner does not accept that boundary, that may be an indicator that you potentially should move forward without them. I don't know. Each case is individualized and definitely something to be worked through on a case-by-case basis. And of course, the next important piece here is to lean on your trusted friends, family members, a therapist, relationship coach, all of whom can provide empathy, guidance, and support as you navigate the challenges of forgiveness. Having a supportive network can offer validation and perspective during this difficult time. And make sure that you know your support system's biases, because there are people who will just say, cut and run, forget this, but maybe that's not the best option. You need to talk to people who are as unbiased about the situation as possible. And the next tip in dealing with the aftermath of infidelity is to practice self-care. Prioritize those self-care activities that nurture your physical, emotional, and mental well-being. Engage in activities that bring you joy, relaxation, and a sense of fulfillment, whether it's exercising, journaling, practicing mindfulness, spending time in nature, crocheting, whatever it happens to be. Prioritize that self-care. And then communicate openly, because if you foster open and honest communication with your partner about your thoughts, your feelings, and your concerns, it can lead to a better outcome. If you express your hurt and anger without blame or judgment and actively listen to your partner's perspective, you can move through your healing process better. Again, this is not giving anyone an excuse or a pass. It's just that effective communication is so incredibly important for rebuilding trust and understanding, not just with the perpetrator of this, but to rebuild trust and understanding for other humans. Because a lot of times when we are cheated on, we start to lose faith in everyone around us. And next, honestly, explore the option of couples therapy or individual counseling or relationship coaching to address those underlying issues and to facilitate healing in the relationship. A trained therapist can provide guidance, tools, strategies to navigate these complexities of forgiveness and reconciliation. And as a therapist and coach, I have often helped people to navigate the aftermath of infidelity in relationships. Now, this next one may be a little bit difficult for some of you to swallow. Try to understand your partner's perspective and motivations for their infidelity, but without excusing or justifying their actions. Empathy can help cultivate compassion and facilitate healing for both you and your partner. And forgiveness is a process that takes time, and it's important to be patient with yourself as you navigate your emotions and experiences. Allow yourself the space and time you need to heal, and do not rush the process of forgiveness. And also, forgiveness isn't just a one-time thing. And while it's natural to dwell on the past, try to focus on the present moment and the potential for growth and renewal in your relationship. Look towards the future with optimism and commitment to building a healthier, more resilient partnership if you decide to stay, or if you decide to leave. Looking to the future with optimism and commitment can help you to be more prepared for your next relationship. Ultimately, trust your instincts and intuition when making decisions about forgiveness and the future of your relationship. Listen to your inner voice and prioritize your own well-being and happiness above all else. Remember, forgiveness is a personal journey, and there's no right or wrong way to navigate it. Be gentle with yourself, practice patience and self-compassion, and trust that healing is possible, whether you choose to forgive and reconcile or move forward independently. Rebuilding trust after infidelity is no easy feat and requires a commitment from both partners to address underlying issues and work towards healing. However, it is essential to acknowledge that reconciliation may not always be the best option, especially if the betrayal has caused irreparable damage to the relationship or if there is a pattern of infidelity. When there is a pattern, it becomes very apparent that the person is not sorry for their actions. Remember, you have the power to choose how you respond to infidelity, whether that means seeking closure and moving on, or embarking on the journey of rebuilding trust. Whatever path you choose, prioritize your own well-being and surround yourself with support and resources to navigate this challenging time. You know, as much as it pains me to say this, I feel like I do need to say it. I've been both the victim and the perpetrator of infidelity in various relationships that I've been in. And I have chosen to forgive some and to not forgive others. And I have also been chosen to be forgiven. And that forgiveness that was extended to me was probably the ultimate form of grace that I could have been given. I am not proud of the fact that I was ever a perpetrator, and I certainly don't like that I was ever on the receiving end of betrayal, but it has actually made me a better relationship coach and a better therapist as I help other people navigate this very sensitive subject. I know and understand on both a personal and professional level how devastating infidelity is in relationships. But I also know that with hard work, something amazing can happen if two people are willing to face the discomfort of what happened, sometimes the trauma of what happened, and work towards creating a better relationship. And I can say, as one of the people whose past trauma influenced my poor decision making, when you extend grace to somebody who has gone through trauma and ultimately screws up in their relationships, you can provide that person with hope and love and light that they never ever believed they were worthy of or could actually ever even be given. And again, I make no excuses for myself or anyone else who has ever committed infidelity. However, I encourage compassion because you never know what has gone on in somebody else's life. And for all the people out there who are judging me right now because I admitted that I had been unfaithful in a relationship previously, shame on you. Go back and listen to the episode all over again and maybe find your compassion, because you don't know what has happened in my life. So I would really appreciate you withholding judgment, just like I withhold judgment for others. And I approach things with compassion. I just ask that you give me the same, because ultimately I am here to help people. That's what my goal is with this podcast, is to help people. And for all of those out there who are hurting because they have been betrayed, I get it. I've been there too. It sucks. And it was part of my own experience of making poor decisions in relationships that followed, or making a poor decision in an important relationship that followed. Because I couldn't trust after I was betrayed. And I wish I had been able to, because then maybe I would not have turned into that betrayer. As we wrap up today's episode, I want to leave you with this empowering reminder. You are worthy of love, respect, and honesty in your relationships. Infidelity may shake your faith in love, but it does not define your worth or your ability to find happiness and fulfillment. Please don't make the mistakes I made and shut yourself off from trusting others. Don't make the mistake I made by feeling unworthy or unlovable, because it can have very negative consequences for your future. You could turn into the person that you don't want to be. So, stay strong, stay true to yourself, and remember that your voice matters. Thank you as always, so much for tuning in to the Hint Hive, Amplifying Women's Voices. Until next time, take care of yourself and take care of each other. Today's episode of the Hint Hive, Amplifying Women's Voices, is powered by Kelly Hint Empowerment Coaching, Kelly M. Hint LMHC Therapy Services, and the Cranky Counselor Aromatherapy Services. For more information, feel free to check out CoachKellyHint.com for coaching services, or KellyMHint.com for therapy services, and thecrankycounselor.com for aromatherapy services.